Hello again, boys and girls of Cartoon Universe. Deepcut's here with another Dragon Prince video for you. It felt like a good time to make one with Season 3 expected to be released sometime in the nearest future. We don't know exactly when, but Season 1 dropped in September of last year, and then Season 2 came out just 5 months later in February. It's been 6 months since then, and there's no official notice yet, but Aaron Ehasz has said that they hope to announce the release date at a convention later this year. With that in mind, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about some of the background lore we were given at the recent Comic-Con panel, as well as in the interview they did with us, and discuss my theory for who I think is really responsible for the conflict between the elves and the humans. Which is, of course, the key conflict that the show is premised on. The entire world is shaped by their division. It's no secret that this is meant to tap into the theme of racism, with our main characters being the inevitable solution. The elves and humans hate each other, and the tensions escalated to them dividing the continent in two so they wouldn't have to deal with one another. Our heroes, on the other hand, represent the future, with humans and elves working together for the safety of everyone, and hopefully repairing relations between the races. This is brilliantly contradicted by the actual lack of racism and the general tone of acceptance for differences found within the show. All of the various races of elves, for instance, seem to work together in harmony. The human races have no problem with one another either. The king is black, his wife is Asian, there are lesbian queens, and no one questions this. The fact that it is portrayed as so unimportant to the audience helps them better to see the parallel they are drawing using imaginary races such as the elves and humans. But how exactly did it get there? At first glance, it can seem like the elves are oppressing the humans to some degree. The elves are naturally magic beings, and they likely had a role in their societal development. Without magic, humans would easily be the underdogs. They had nothing to contribute to a growing society with elves, and the elves would have no reason to let the humans piggyback off of their success. According to the creators, around 5,000 years ago, humans and elves did live in harmony, but the way they worded things gave the impression that they did not have integrated communities or anything of that sort. Without magic, humans were suffering, but the same was not said of the elves who shared the same land with them. It would take 3,000 years for this to change, when humans, and I quote, found their way to magic. This was an important distinction from the writers, as they wanted to clarify that they did not discover magic. It is hard to say if this meant magic as a whole, which should be a given, or the particular types of magic that they were using. What little magic the humans were known for either came from primal stones or dark magic, both of which require a lot of effort or a lot of consequences from what we have seen. Magic seems to come rather effortlessly to the elves. It flows through them, so it is easy to see why the elves might look down upon the humans from very early on. At this time, the city of Ilarion rose to prominence, and humans began to flourish. In the poem of Aaravos, Ilarion is described as reaching to the stars for help when they were near death, and all of the stars turning their back on them, save for the one who called himself Aaravos, which is likely a reference to him being a star-touched elf. It is believed among many that Aaravos is the one who taught the humans about dark magic, and that this is how Ilarion, and the humans as a whole, came to flourish. About 800 years later, this became seen as a problem, where humans were hunting magical creatures and using their parts for magic. There is no indication that they had done this to elves or dragons at the time, but it is easy to see why this would become worrisome to both races. This is likely the reason why the elves and dragons united against the humans. The elves even went so far as to crown a dragon the king of Zygaenidae, likely with the hope that giving him this authority would ensure their own protection. This dragon, Sol Reggem, was known for not just being the first dragon king, but also for having the shortest reign. At the end of his reign, which only lasted 200 years, he went to battle to put an end to dark magic. He threatened to destroy an entire city, likely Ilarion, if Ziard did not give up dark magic. In the preview scene at Comic-Con that I cannot play here, Sol Reggem was seen to be pretty seriously injured at the end of this battle, which is likely why his reign was so short. At the end of Season 2, we see that he is in fact still alive, but he's very clearly wounded from the battle. Shortly after this, according to information we heard at the panel, humans were banished to the Westlands, likely as a fallout from this conflict. In Episode 1, we can see that the elves are banishing the humans, but at the panel, it was revealed that this was a decision made by Luna Tenebris, the lunar dragon who took over after Sol Reggem. This decision was likely influenced by just how powerful dark magic can be. With the sacrifice of a few stray flying creatures, one mage was able to go toe-to-toe with a powerful dragon, wounding him pretty seriously. Now, you might be thinking that the dragons are the ultimate villains of the story. They clearly have low opinions of humans, Sol Reggem expresses much in his battle against Ziard, and they threaten to destroy them entirely before banishing them to the west. But I don't think they will be a scapegoat that gets blamed for dividing the elves and the humans. After all, humans aren't exactly innocent in the story with the way they kill other creatures. On the contrary, I think the approach to the theme of racism is a bit more nuanced than most kid shows, or even many adult shows, so we're going to get a very different answer. What is important in this story is that none of our character leads in this little gang are actually guilty of anything. There were humans and elves and dragons who all did pretty terrible things, but none of their children have to hold it against one another. Our diverse ragtag group of misfit heroes isn't complete without Zim, and he too will be an important part in this new generation turning away from the conflicts of the past to focus on creating a better future for all of Zygaenidae. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Here's some other videos of ours you might want to check out. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.